40%, we can maintain that with our humidifier, but moisture can become a problem depending on window quality. Typically, most people are very comfortable at the 40% range, something like that.
Well, everybody saw the video last week of you installing a steam humidifier in my house. I was wondering if you could talk about how to set a humidifier, any humidifier really, for your home in the wintertime. Things to watch out for. Since I've had this humidifier now for a while, I see moisture on my windows. Is that okay? Is that not okay? Just kind of walk me through and walk everybody through what you should think about when you're setting your humidifier for the wintertime.
It kind of depends on the type of control that you have. Some humidifiers are installed where they have a humidistat. Many times it's mounted on the ductwork, or it might be in the hallway. It's literally measuring the relative humidity, and you're setting it by your desired percentage of relative humidity. So I'm setting it at 40%. Some have the actual setting like that. Others, depending on the control that you have and are using, have maybe a range of numbers, kind of like a high to a low number, 1 through 6. And it's going to take a little bit of experimentation to find out what your best setting is because of the possibility of moisture on your windows. You mentioned the moisture on your windows. Where does that come from? Well, that is moisture in the air inside your home that is condensing on your cold windows. First question to ask is, why is my window cold? Why is it doing that? It may be that you don't have your storm window closed, which would cause it to be a warmer window. You'll see pictures at my house where I actually woke up one morning, I had moisture on my windows because the blinds were pulled down. If you pull your blind down, your windows are not being warmed by the air inside the room, and so they tend to get colder. So when it gets really cold, you might want to come up with an alternative as far as opening some of that up so the windows don't get as cold.
Interesting. So you're saying, okay, so you can heat the windows more by keeping the blinds more open.
Yeah, they'll be
and
more
there won't
exposed.
be as much humidity on them.
If you can open those up and expose it to the warmth of the room, you're going to warm those windows up.
Okay, so in rooms of the house where it doesn't really matter, nobody's sleeping or anything, just keep those open.
Keep those open.
Okay.
Yes. So investigate as to why those windows are cold to begin with. And now you can start adjusting the thermostat. And I believe on your thermostat, you've got like a range, a 1 through 4 or 1 through 5, something like that. And you're just going to want to adjust it because controls like what you have and controls like what I have are also sensing the outdoor temperature. And so as it gets colder outside, it's anticipating this whole issue of moisture on the windows. And so it's anticipating that. And so based on the outdoor temperature, it's going to adjust the setting of the humidistat so you do not have moisture on the inside of your windows.
For instance, my steam humidifier that you installed, it's going to sense that when it is colder outside, it's going to maybe be putting out less humidity.
Exactly. And I know that sounds counterproductive or counterintuitive, and it is to a certain extent, but it's a simple fact. We are limited to how much humidity we can have inside the home by the quality of your windows.
Okay.
And we don't want moisture running down your walls or rotting out a wood sash on your windows, things like that.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about regarding that?
You can get a higher output of your humidifier if you've got that sensor outside. It's constantly making those adjustments. As it gets colder at night, it adjusts the humidity setting. As it warms up during the day, it adjust the humidity setting. So it's really great to be able to have that outdoor sensor so it's automatically resetting itself and allowing the humidifier will run more with that humidistat that senses outdoor temperature. The really cool thing is see, your thermostat does not really sense the outdoor air through a Wi-Fi connection. It's hooked up to the weather service. It's able to use that, so we can now have controls that sense outdoor temperature settings, but we don't have to physically have an outdoor sensor out there. Through weather services, we know what the temperature is.
How can somebody tell if their humidifier is working or not working?
Most humidifiers are either the bypass type or of course, certainly the steam humidifier. We've talked about those differences.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the bypass types, or the what we call a power humidifier that has its own fan inside it, typically is going to slough water off. You're going to notice that it is dribbling water at the floor drain when it's actually properly working. And so that's usually the first indicator, is there's no water running, at the floor drain.
Which means that it's not running.
It's not running.
Okay.
Right. It's a very common thing to have an orifice plug up or lime up. We're talking about a little orifice that you can't hardly put a pin through it. It doesn't take much to plug one up and not allow moisture to go through the humidifier. So that's the biggest way. The easiest indicator is it running water at the drain?